What's up, everybody? This is our college basketball big game breakdown for February 25th, Super Tuesday. We'll recap Saturday, everything that happened there. We're going to give you our best bets. It looks like we got 5 for Tuesday. I'm still feeling good, 2-1 Saturday. I've recapped it. If you're not following my daily plays, I've already kind of recapped it a little bit over there. But if you're not, 2-1, nearly 3-0 sweep. Wisconsin imploded down the stretch. I don't know if you were watching that game, but I was feeling good. They were in control, up 15 with 6 minutes to go, and just completely collapsed. So we will take the 2-1. Hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. If we've helped you cash a ticket, you can help us out. Just very quickly hit that button down below. How are you feeling? It was a tough Saturday for you. But I feel like every single time I start dipping my toes into college basketball, I always get off to a bad start. And then you kind of find a rhythm once you get your eyes on the team. So you're in the midst of that.
Yeah, I'm 4-5. I had Illinois. They lost by 40.
I told you.
Look, they closed at 8.5.
No, yeah, it did.
So it's like, regardless, it could have been a 40-point spread. I would have taken Illinois and wouldn't have covered. So
yeah, no, you got closing line value, but yeah, like I'm never going to say that I disagree with the play, I guess, because the second I do that, they'll cover, and it'll be like, okay, I shouldn't have said anything. I understood the thought process, and you kind of just keep waiting around for Duke to have a sleepwalk game, which I guess they did against, what was it, NC State? Or Clemson, and kind of against NC State, but then they turned it on in the second half. But that team is probably – it's them or Auburn. I've been saying it. It's them or Auburn. But what they're able to do with their size, they have the most size of any team in college basketball. And then if Cooper flags on, they have a guy who can go get you a bucket at will. But defensively, they're such a hard team to kind of break through against. Yeah, that was a tough one.
And then, Gonzaga. We got CLV there, too.
Yep.
St. Mary's shot the ball extremely well from three-point range, and they dominated the glass. So Gonzaga ended up tying it in the second half, but every time Gonzaga made a little bit of a run, St. Mary's answered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we will look ahead to Tuesday. Like I said, hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. I've got one play, a couple personal plays. One official play for tonight. We're on Houston, -1.5 on the road against Texas Tech. I broke it all down. By the time you're hearing this, that game is already going to either be in play or already passed. But like I said, if you subscribe, you're not going to miss out on anything. I'm having success with the daily plays, and I'm 15-5 in my last 20, so I'm feeling good. We've got CLV with Houston. We got a -1.5. It looks like it's -3.5 with about an hour till tip. So we'll see if it keeps moving in the right direction there. All right, we'll start it off. First play from me, 6 p.m. Providence going on the road to take on Marquette. Marquette's coming off a tough loss against Villanova. I was very high on this Marquette team. I had a futures bet on Marquette, and I got out of it at the right time because they don't have the size necessary to compete for a national championship. There's been a little inconsistency from the guard position. Cam Jones is not shooting it as well as he has in years past, but what he's doing is picking up the slack, facilitating. He had another 8 assists last time out. He's distributing the ball very well. He can still score with the best of them in transition, and then when you need somebody to go get a basket, he can do it for you. Coming off that tough loss against Villanova, the biggest factor was that Villanova shot 15 of 26 from the three-point line, 57.7%, and then they attempted 20 free throws to Marquette's 8. So that was the big discrepancy here. Nova shot it very well, and they got to the line. Providence is a guard-heavy team. I've said many a times, if you don't have the size to compete or to give Marquette problems down low, I like Marquette's chances. That's the way we're going to lean in this one. It's a little bit bigger than I would have liked. We are going to lay 11.5 with Marquette. Like I said, very guard-heavy with Providence. They don't have dominant bigs down low to exploit the lack of size for Marquette. Marquette's perimeter defense is inside the top 100. You would expect after what happened against Villanova and the success they had shooting the ball, that you're going to see more of an emphasis in defending the perimeter. The big thing for me here, Providence ranks 257th in turnovers per game. Marquette's 4th. They only average 9 They don't give the ball up much, and they take it away at a very high clip. They're 16th in the nation in forced turnovers. They're taking the ball away 15 times a game. You compile that with the fact that Providence turns it over near bottom of the barrel in turnovers per game. I think we see a Marquette team that's locked in on the defensive side. If we can get some shots from the outside to fall, I don't think this will be much issue here. So I'm going to lay 11.5 points with Marquette as my first play of the day. Where are you going with?
Another 6 o'clock tip-off, Baylor-Cincinnati. We're going to go with Baylor plus 2.5. Both of these teams don't play with a ton of pace. Both rank outside the top 250 in adjusted tempo. Baylor, fueled by their offense, top 15 in schedule-adjusted offensive efficiency. Defensively, Baylor's not as strong. They struggle to defend the perimeter. 302 in the nation in perimeter defense. Cincinnati, not the best three-point shooting team, 224th in the nation. 2 injuries to talk about. Jaden Nunn for Baylor missed last game with an illness. No telling if he's going to be back. 7th highest usage rate on the team. He does shoot the ball well from 42.3% from outside. And then for Cincinnati, Samas Lukosius. 6'8" forward. 2nd highest usage rate on the team. Averages 11.4 points per game. Kind of does it all. 2.3 assists, 3.1 rebounds. For a tall guy, he shoots the ball well from outside, 36% from three-point range. He's missed the last 2 games with a shoulder injury. They say on Friday he went through a little bit of a layup warm-up and only used his left hand. I doubt he goes in this game. Cincinnati, another thing to look at. Cincinnati, 359th in the nation in percentage of points that come from free throw shooting. They also don't shoot the ball well from the foul line. 355th in the nation. They only have 1 win against a team ranked inside the top 30. So I like Baylor here after dropping 2 in a row. Baylor plus 2.5.
Okay. Yeah, I don't dislike that at all. Yeah, look, Cincinnati did me the ultimate solid. Lukosius was a late scratch in that game. He was not expected to be out, so he's clearly dealing with something. I wouldn't expect him to play either. Baylor has, like, specifically in the form of VJ Edgecombe, serious talent. That dude's going to be a lottery pick. He might be a top 5 pick. I don't know if you've watched him play or not yet. That guy's a problem. They need to go through him. When he puts the ball on the floor, he can get to the rim with the best of them. Cincinnati, just to kind of bolster your thought there. Obviously, I got a great look at Cincinnati. The offense is deceiving in the fact that they put points up on the board a couple weeks ago. They went on a stretch where they were scoring a good bit. But it's so stagnant. I don't have any idea what they're trying to do on the offensive side of the ball. And there's no facilitator. There's no true point guard running the offense. So I think it's easier to defend. Baylor struggles to defend the three-point line. You don't really have to worry about that with Cincinnati. So I think matchup-wise, I think it's a decent spot for them. So I agree with you. All right, my second one is going to be a 7 o'clock tip. Iowa State going on the road to take on Oklahoma State. Iowa State just lost to Houston. The big story was that their top 2 leading scorers were late scratches. You had Curtis Jones with an illness and Keyshawn Gilbert with a muscle strain. As far as Keyshawn Gilbert's muscle strain, I'm not entirely sure if he's going to go. Curtis Jones with the illness, I would expect him to be back. I would imagine they're both going to be back since it was a late scratch situation here. But we're going to take a little bit of a gamble. I'm not entirely sure. There's no official word yet. We're going to lay 9.5 points with Iowa State in a bounce-back spot here. Outside of injuries, what's plagued Iowa State, in my opinion, has been the lack of consistency. When you see them dialed in, they are one of the better teams in the country, and that's been that way for a couple years now. Defensively, they're fantastic. Oklahoma State really struggles. They're not a good team, and they've really struggled against the top in talent of the Big 12 in the last 2 weeks. You just saw them. The other day you just saw them lose by 32 to Kansas. Before that, they lost by 38 to Texas Tech. I'm not saying that this is going to be a 30-plus point win for Iowa State. I hope it is, but at 9.5 points, that's not enough to scare me away here. The defense is going to travel. You get some of that scoring back. I just think Oklahoma State does not look like a good basketball team right now. And after dropping the game to Houston, a game in which they respectably hung in there, without their top 2 leading scorers. We're going to lay 9.5 points with the Cyclones. Where are you going for your second one?
Another 6 o'clock tip-off. St. Louis at Davidson. It's one of the top offenses in the A-10 versus one of the top defenses in the A-10. St. Louis is good on defense. Davidson's good on offense. Davidson doesn't turn the ball over a lot. They're the number 1 team in the A-10 at protecting the basketball, while St. Louis defends the perimeter well. They don't force a lot of turnovers. It's a close matchup at the rim. You probably give a little bit of an edge here to St. Louis. But I like Davidson here at home as short favorites. After losing their last 2 home games, they're 11-4 at home. They've lost their last 2. St. Louis is 3-7 on the road, so I like Davidson -1.5.
Okay. All right, I got one more, so we'll have 3 for the night. The number 5 ranked Tennessee Volunteers going on the road to take on LSU. LSU's getting thrown to the SEC gauntlet after just playing Florida. We were on Florida -10 in that game. They were dominating the first half until the final 8 minutes or so. LSU got unbelievably hot from the 3-point line, but then they turned it on in the second half. Florida squeezed them and covered the number. So I think Florida's the better team. I think they're better than Tennessee. And you had Florida laying 10. Honestly, the line moved against us. I think it closed around 9, maybe even less. You've got Tennessee coming in 10.5-point favorites. I think Florida's better than Tennessee. I was hoping for maybe a -7 to 8 for Tennessee in that range. But we didn't get it, so we're not going to go. We're going to take the under, is what I'm getting at. We're going under 137.5. LSU's not good, and they're struggling pretty much at every facet right now. But if they can hang their hat anywhere, it's on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, McMahon preaches good defense. They're number 100 exactly by KenPom defensive efficiency. Tennessee plays unbelievably slow. If LSU can kind of on the road, you would expect maybe a little bit of a poor shooting night from Tennessee, but even if you can't really necessarily bank on that per se, they don't light it up from the 3-point line by any means. Tennessee's strength is not their offense, but we can rely on the fact that LSU is probably going to struggle on the offensive side of the ball. It took them 10 minutes to score 10 points against Florida. They went on a very uncharacteristic hot streak from the 3-point line to close out the first half on a 22-2 run, and then Florida bounced back and held them to 24 points in the second half. So there's a trending topic here with the teams I like to bet on. It's the ones with the best defense because you can rely on that, and a great defense can make up for a bad shooting night. Hopefully LSU can disrupt Tennessee on the perimeter, but at the pace that Tennessee plays, I mean, it's literally one of the slowest in the nation. You couple that with their defense being top 5 in the country. I think it's going to be a very tough night for LSU. I don't feel confident enough for some reason to lay the points with Tennessee. I don't feel that the offense is reliable enough. So we're going to go under 137.5. And see what we can do. See what we can do for Tuesday.
Yeah, especially after the way Tennessee played this second game on the road in a row.
Yeah.
They played extremely well offensively against A&M, so maybe a little bit more sluggish in this one offensively.
Yeah, and this is not a game that you really have to like A&M ranked team, very similar style team. LSU stinks. They do. They're one of those scrappy teams that can kind of maybe every now and then give you a scare. We saw it with Auburn. They kind of hung in there, made that a funky game. But I don't think Tennessee has the scoring prowess to drop 80 on them. Maybe they do. But I think LSU's defense will show up enough to get us where we need to be in this one. So 3 plays for me for Tuesday. Marquette -11.5, Iowa State -9.5, and Tennessee LSU under 137.5.
We're going Baylor +2.5 and Davidson -1.5.
There you go. That is our best bets for Super Tuesday. Short and sweet, right to the point. If you can hit the like and subscribe button, I'll ask again. We would really appreciate it. One play about to be in progress in about 45 minutes. We're going to see what we can do for Tuesday. I'll be back for Wednesday, and we're going to keep trying to stack winners. Anything to say before we go?
Nope.
All right, y'all, good luck.